Hi friends! Welcome to chapter 8, Linear Law. So we have done our previous chapter 7 already. So at last, we can continue our next lesson, next topic. Alright? So before that, let's check our previous homework first. So this was your previous homework in lesson 14. So I think a lot of you get the answers correctly. Okay? Maybe it's just a little bit of careless mistake. Okay? So let's check in detail your working. Okay, I'll be marking Jeslie from Year 9 Science 2. Okay, so in question number 5, part 1, there's a careless mistake here, which is plus. This is supposed to be a plus. Okay, and then this one is a plus, then you will get 4 and negative 8. Okay, this is considered a working mistake. And for part 2, this is part 2. Okay, you shouldn't put equal negative 1 here. Okay, you must show that this one, when you times with this, is negative 1, then shown here. This is the 2 working that you need. Okay, please tick, alright? So for part 3, midpoint of AB, so it's M. And then P is 5, 2, which is also a midpoint of AC. And Q is 6.5, 0. Okay, and then part 4, okay, if you're using this method, using length method, 2, 1, also okay. If you're using ratio method, also okay. Okay, and as for question 8, part 1, this is the answer. Part 2, I think no problem for question number 8. Most of you get the answers, and you might ask your friends already, or even ask hint from me. This is a positive, right? Okay, D. And part 4 is 112 unit squared. Right, not much to discuss because most of you get it correctly, and you have asked what you want to know also. Alright. Alright, so linear law. The word itself, okay, you already know what is linear, right? It's a straight line. It means straight line. So a linear graph represents a straight line graph. A linear equation represents a straight line equation, right? So this topic is all about making a non-linear or changing a non-linear to linear, right? Okay, just look at this 8.1. It's reducing non-linear to linear form. Okay, the word reducing, another word for the reducing means is change. Okay, or if you see this word transform, or some book says convert. Okay, transform non-linear to linear form, convert non-linear to linear form, or change non-linear to linear form. Basically they are the same thing. Okay, basically we are changing the non-linear equation or non-linear graph to linear form. Alright, okay, non-linear. Let's talk about non-linear first. You already know what is linear. Linear is a straight line graph, right? It's either the straight line is going down or going up, or horizontal or vertical. Okay, for non-linear, okay, for non-linear graph, I show you a few examples here. Okay, all these are not a straight line. Okay, they are not straight lines. So if they are not straight lines, their category are in non-linear. Okay, they are non-linear graph. So in this topic, we are going to change, or we reduce, transform, or convert. Okay, I will be using reducing more. okay, often. We're gonna reduce these non-linear graphs to linear. But how are we gonna do that? Okay, so this is what we're gonna learn in this chapter, right? Okay, so I give you an example here. First thing first, I want you to know it's big Y and big X. Okay, so your big Y is basically your vertical axis, and your big X is your horizontal axis. Okay, vertical and horizontal, basically y-axis and x-axis. But this time I write in big Y, big letter Y and big letter X. Okay, why I write big letter Y, big letter X? Because this big letter Y, okay, in this case here is your small letter y. Your big letter X here in this context, in this graph, is small letter x. Okay, this big letter Y and X, they are variables. Okay, they can change. Okay, they can change. So if they change, then our graph will change. Alright, so big Y, big X is not always Y and X like how we used to learn. Okay, it can be 1 over Y, it can be X squared. Okay, I will explain that further later. But for now, you need to know what is big letter X and big letter Y. Okay, big letter Y and X represent vertical line and horizontal line. Okay, remember that. Okay, so as you can see here, okay, this is a quadratic graph. This is a y equals to 2x squared plus 1. We know that already, okay, because it's an x squared graph, it's a quadratic, right? But if you want to reduce this to a straight line, okay, which is on the right side here, okay, we don't just reduce like that, we don't just change like that only, we don't just change straight line straight away, draw a straight line like that. No, the thing that is changed here is your y, okay, still be your y. You look at the big X over here. Your big X here is now x squared. As long as we change this to something, okay, the graph from smiley face graph become a straight line graph already. Okay, so the big Y and the big X are important. If they change, the whole graph will change. Okay, but this topic is we're gonna learn how to change to only straight line graph. We're not going to change to another form. Okay, only straight line, only linear. Okay, if you understand only like 10% for now, it's okay. Okay, you will get a clearer picture or bigger picture later on, right? So for now, what you need to know is this topic is about changing non-linear to linear. And in this topic, it's all about your big Y and your big X. And your big Y is not always Y. Your big X is not always X. Okay? They will change. Okay? If they change, the graph will change. Right? Okay. So the next thing you're gonna know, you have to know is, okay, linear form equation, you know y equals mx plus c already. I'm not gonna say what is your y and what is your m and what is your c. Okay? But, okay, you look at here, your big Y here and your big X, they are variables. They can change. Okay? But your M, your gradient, or your C, your y-intercept, they are constants. Okay? They are constants. Okay? They're fixed constants. Okay? Okay. The condition, if you want to reduce from non-linear to linear, is your variables, okay, your big X and your big Y, okay, this is your variables, these are your variables, cannot have M and C, okay, cannot have constants, okay, and your M and C also cannot have your X and Y. Okay, how? Okay, I will explain that later on. Okay, for now, this one you need to know. Okay, you write down first. Okay, all these you must write down. Okay, these are the example of your big Y and your big X. Okay, so your big Y and your big X, okay, as I said just now, big Y, big X is your y-axis and x-axis, right? Cannot have constant. Okay, these are the examples of your big Y and big X that don't have constants. Cannot even have constants at all. Okay, see, your big Y is y over y, 1 over y, your big X is x squared, and your big X can have log. Hello, log, long time no see. And then big Y can have y over x squared. So your y can have x. Okay, and your x is equals to x over y. So your x can have y also. Okay, your y equals to y over square root of x. Okay, big Y also can be log xy. Okay, you see, can have x and y, but cannot have constant. Can also square root. and also can have exponential ln, learn y and learn x. Okay, and your m and c, look at the m and c here, your gradient of y and your y-intercept, no x, no y at all. Okay, don't have x, don't have y at all. Okay, so these are the examples of your big X, big Y, and M and C. Example only, these are the example. Just want you to get an idea of how big Y and big X looks like and how M and C looks like here, right? So let's look at examples straight away. You might understand more with examples. Okay, so example here. Okay, I have prepared this table. Okay, you're gonna draw that table. So the questions here from 1 and so on, and we're gonna reduce these to linear, and then variables y, x, m, c, they have their own column. Okay, so it's easier to see. So this question is asking you to express the following equations, which is referring to your non-linear equation, in the form suitable for drawing straight line graph. So now we want to convert this non-linear to a straight line graph, right? And we're gonna state variables and constants. Variables and constants. So variables are your big Y and big X, and your constants are your M and C. Okay. So let's look at this question number 1 here, right? Question number 1 here, we want to change to linear form first before we write down Y, X, M, and C, right? Okay, so your y equals to negative x squared plus 2. Okay, from here we can straight away see what is our big Y. My big Y will be my y. My big X will be my x squared. My M here is my negative 1, right? And my C here is my positive 2. Okay? Okay, so the condition just now, as I say, condition here, xy cannot have mc, mc cannot have xy. Okay, remember that. So in this case, your yx don't have m, don't have c, your m and c don't have your x and y. Okay, so therefore I can write here my big Y is y, my big X is x squared, not negative x squared. Your variable cannot have negative, variables cannot have negative. Maybe I should add on here so that you will take note. No negative. Okay, negative belongs to M and C, right? Okay, so your constants M will be negative 1 and your C is 2. Okay, yx don't have mc, mc don't have yx. Okay, I'll explain to you through graph. Maybe you will understand it more. Okay, so these are the graph from question 1 here. Okay, question 1 here, just now was y equals to negative x squared plus 2, right? The graph will looks like this if this is y against x. My big Y is Y, my big X is X. This is how the graph looks like. And if you want to transform to linear, okay, this one I already prepared for you. The linear, I already draw it out. Okay, just now we wrote here our big Y is Y, our big X is X squared, right? And your gradient is negative 1 and your C is 2. This is the same question as just now that one. So we want to transform that, then this big Y, my vertical axis will still be my Y, and my X here will become X squared. You see, I reduce my Y, or Y still become Y. My X reduced to X squared. Okay, so my big X now is become X squared already. So in this form now, we can know that our gradient here is going there now negative 1. Okay, the gradient is negative 1. So this graph is going down definitely. And my C is 2. And you look at the graph here, it touches 2. It touches 2. Okay, this is your y-intercept. So we want to convert the non-linear to linear by changing the x and the y. Okay, sometimes y and x no changes, but definitely one of them change or both of them change. Okay, so this is how we're gonna transform. Okay, by changing the y, big Y and big X, right? Okay, you must write big letter Y and big letter X for your variables. Cannot write small letter, must differentiate the small letter and big letter. Okay, especially when you write big Y and big X. Okay, but in this type of equation, the Y and X is small letter, right? when you want to show your x-axis and y-axis, that is when you write your big Y and big X. Okay, so number 2, how are we going to convert this to linear? Can we just state, hold on, I write down the equation first. Y equals to 2x squared minus 3x. Can we just say that this is your big Y, this is your big X, and this is your M, and this is your C? Think. What do you think? The answer is no, right? No. Why no? Because your C cannot have X. M and C cannot have X. X and Y cannot have MC. Here you already wrong already because your C already got X. Okay? So if like this, you cannot convert at all. So the condition is not fulfilling the condition. Okay? The condition must be YX cannot have MC. MC cannot have YX. That's all. Okay? So how are you going to do that? So what I'm going to do here is to divide everything with X. After I divide everything with X, this will be Y over X. This will be 2x, and this will be minus 3. Here no more x anymore, lor. Then this will be my big Y, this will be my big X, and this will be my M, this will be my C. See that? Okay, so I'm gonna write it down over here. My big Y is Y over X. My big X is still X. My gradient is 2. My C is negative 3. Okay, your Y and X can have Y, X. Okay, variable can have variable. Constant can have constant, but they cannot cross. Okay, so look at the graph. Okay, so this is non-linear on the left side. On the right side is linear. Okay, and just now showing that this is Y equals to 2x squared minus 3x. And after we convert, this is question number 2 just now. I just draw it out. You don't need to draw out. You just need to understand how it actually works. This is basically your Y over X, Y against X, small letter Y and small letter X. And to convert this to the linear form on your right side, just now we already divide by X, right? And your big Y is your Y over X, and your big X is X. Your gradient is 2 and your C is negative 3, correct? Meaning to say that your big Y will change, will convert or to reduce to Y over X. Your X will still be your X. See, this Y become Y over X, this X still X. So the gradient is going up. It's positive 2 gradient, and your C is negative 3. Correct? Okay, let's look at question 3. Okay, so we're gonna convert this, right? Okay, how to convert this? Cannot just simply yx mc look at the equation like that. We need to convert that. So to convert or reduce that, what I'm gonna do here is I will divide everything with xy. Divide by xy, divided by xy, divided by xy. Okay, basically all these I divide by xy. So after that, I simplify, cut my x, cut y here, cut xy, become 1. So become 2 over y plus 3 over x equals to 1. Okay, so you cannot see your y equals to mx plus c yet. So what I'm gonna do is I move this to the other side, become minus. Okay. And then not quite yet. Okay. this one is your big Y. Can you do that? Cannot. Why? Because there's a 2, a number 2 there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is divide by 2. So this one become 1 over Y. This one will become negative 3 over 2x plus 1 over 2. So basically, when I divide by 2, the 2 will be on the denominator. Right? So this one, I will separate them. Negative 3 over 2, bracket 1 over x plus 1 over 2. So here I see my big Y already. This is my big X and my M and my C. Okay. So I'm going to write down at this column. Big Y equals to 1 over Y. My big X is 1 over X. My M is negative 3 over 2 and my C is 1 over 2. Okay, I'm going to show you the graph for the last time on actually how it converts or reduce, right? So for question number 3, this is how the graph looks like. This is basically your 2x plus 3y equals to xy. So this will be a normal non-linear graph. Okay, if your y and your x remain y and x. If you want to convert, so just now we already convert, your big Y is 1 over Y, your big X is 1 over X, right? And your gradient is negative 3 over 2, and your C is 1 over 2, correct? So your big Y is 1 over Y, your big X is 1 over X. And you see your C passing through half. So look at this, your Y reduced to 1 over Y, your X reduced to 1 over X here. So your graph will turn or reduce from non-linear to a straight line linear graph. Right? Yes. Okay, I'm gonna do number 4 and number 5. Okay, so number 4 now involve square root x. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna times all this with square root of x. Okay. So when I times this to square root of x, times everything with square root of x, so this one become yx or xy. Okay, it's the same. Okay, because square root of x, when you times with square root of x is equals to x. Okay, just for your information, this one. Okay, then this one will be negative 2x square root x. You want to combine them also can. Don't want to combine, let it like this also can. Okay, plus 1. So this one, when you times with this one, you cut it. It still become, so it becomes 1. Okay. So now this is my big Y, this is my big X, this is my M, and this is my C. Alright. So y is equals to xy or yx. Big X is your x square root x. Your M is negative 2 and your C is positive 1. Okay, double check your big Y, big X don't have MC. Your MC don't have big X, big Y. Okay. So question 5 here. Okay, I'm gonna do this for you. Okay, this one got K and H. So basically K and H is they both are under constants. Okay. So here what I'm going to do is I also times with square root of x. Okay, so when I times with square root of x, times with square root of x, this one y square root x equals to kx. Okay, square root x times square root x is x, plus h. Okay, so your y, your x, your M, and your C. So big Y is Y, or Y starts X. Your big X is still X. Your M is K, and your C is H. Okay, so question 1 until 5 is like that. Okay, so your task for today is, okay, these are the questions 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so this is your task for today. So for today's lesson 6 until 11, I'm going to write down. So your lesson 15, okay, will be all your notes, okay, and also question number 6 until 11. Okay, these are the questions 6 until 11. You continue here. You continue here. Okay, so that's all. And please convert all your pictures to PDF format. All right. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you. Bye. Okay, I think a lot of you don't know what is PDF format. Okay, PDF actually stands for Portable Document Format. Okay, it's a file that is actually most commonly used. Okay, even if you go to university or further studies. Okay, most of your lecturer will request you to send in PDF file. Okay, why is this PDF file so important? PDF file is actually a good type for documents which consist of text, forms, or even image. Okay, so it's actually all compressed to one file. Okay, even if you send in images and convert it to PDF file, it's all in one file only. Okay, so the reason why I ask you guys to send through PDF file, okay, it's not only because of the organized work that you send to me, because all the assignment that you have sent to me, all the files that you have sent to me through assignment post in Teams will all be in OneDrive. So the OneDrive that I open, okay, like for example in this case, okay, let's say I take Pei Tong's one, right? So the file that Pei Tong sent to me, for example, if PDF file, then I can actually edit it straight away. Okay, there's a button for me to edit. I can mark straight away, and when I return back to you, you can see what I've actually edited. But if you send to me through picture, for example this, okay, of course you can send to me through picture, no problem, I can see. It's just that when I check, I cannot edit at all. So I can only reply you through feedback, right? I can only reply you through feedback, so it's better for you to send to me through PDF file. Okay, for example, this one picture, I cannot edit at all.